Oh, I see we have some people. We'll probably wait a minute or two and make sure everybody can log in. So maybe 4:33, 4:34, something like that. Just let people log in. Might be a little late. Let me see if I can fix the lighting a little. It's a little bright. Better. Well, it's different. Not sure that's better. All right. So we got what, 5 people? That's good. Today we're going to mainly talk about writing assignment 1, making sure everybody has been receiving all the emails and everything, because that might be a problem. We aren't.
How are
So
you
somebody tell me if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can somebody turn on their audio and tell me if you can hear me? Anybody?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I see Carolyn, but I can't hear Carolyn. Let's see. Do I have something turned off? Yes, no audio.
Can you hear us?
Hi. Can you speak? No?
Yes.
Alexis? So you don't have audio or you do?
No, I do. You can hear me?
No, I can't hear you. So there's something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong on my end. Hold on, let me check.
Front left.
No, I'm good. So I see the chat over here. Carolyn, can you hear us? Yes, we can hear you. All right. I cannot hear Alexis. Can you guys hear me? Somebody type in on the chat if you can hear me. Okay, great. Okay, good. All right. We'll get started. Let's wait another minute or so. Maybe we'll get a few more people. Let's see. Not sure. One, two, three. Wait about 30 more seconds and then I'll just start. The main thing we're going to do is talk about writing assignment 1 today, and I'll answer any questions you have. Okay, we'll start. These are not required videos. I do record them. So just keep in mind, if you've got questions, this is the place to ask. The main thing I'm going to do today is we're going to talk about writing assignment one, and I'll get you started. Hopefully you got the email with your assignment. I'll explain a little bit about that, but I'll make a whole nother video going through what I expect specifically for writing assignment one. And I'll also go through an example paper, so you'll get to see that. We're also going to talk, I'll be making a video on chi-squared, and there's one already out there for chi-squared on the last semester, but I'll make a brand new one, and that's usually something that people have a problem with. There's math in it, and so I want to get that started early. So if you have problems on chi-squared, you can start working on understanding how it works now before it's something that catches up to you later. So let me begin with WA1. And if you go to, I'm going to share here my screen, and I'm going to share with the Blackboard site. So hopefully everybody recognizes this. And what I'm under course writing and reading assignments. So I'm right here, course writing and reading assignments. And here you have writing assignment one. That's where you turn your writing assignment in, and it is due February 12th. So you have quite a bit of time. You have roughly 2 weeks from today. So turn it in 2 weeks, hopefully earlier. You just open this up and upload your assignment. Now, the actual files telling you how to do the assignment are in here, and these three things. Actually, the PDF and the let's see, and this is I believe this is PowerPoints here. I believe those are the same, and then this is the rubric for how it's going to be graded. So let me kind of go. I'll do a whole video about kind of tips and tricks, but I just want to go over kind of how it's graded at this point as a general rule. I want to make sure that you know where you go to get your instructions. So if you want to get started on writing assignment one, you can do that. So let me go ahead and click on this one real quick. Sometimes this thing crashes my computer. I just hope it doesn't do it this time. Okay, so there are certain things that you have to understand. Formatting and grammar is worth quite a bit on this first writing assignment. And you need to, this is the content, this is your general grammar, all right? And here are some additional comments. So these are the basic rules for how I'm going to grade. Now I'm going to give you a video where I go into much more detail on all of this, but understand that there's quite a bit having to do with grammar, formatting, that sort of thing. Make sure you get include this content, but also make sure you get the margins, the justification, the grammar. All of that has to be correct, and I'll count off points if you get any of that wrong. But this is your general, what we call your rubric for how it's in a general way, how it's going to be graded. Any additional things I will give in a separate video. So I don't want to leave this up. If I leave that program open too long, it usually crashes my computer. So I'm going to turn that off real quick. Now, also, let me go back. There is the tips and tricks. So you click on that, and here are just some suggestions. And this, I will also go over with this in lots of detail. Like for instance, picture, you have to find a picture. Now, we can't take our own pictures this semester because you're not drawing your own flies. So you have to go find a picture online. And a lot of students have problems finding those pictures. When I do a video that you will need to watch, I will give you some places to go that are more likely to have pictures for your mutant. All right, so literature cited, just make sure you understand that. So please go through this and read these documents before you start WA1. All right, so I will be grading this, not Dr. O'Brien. These are the general instructions. Plus, I will have a video using a completed paper, and I will go through that and give you lots of details. Please watch that video. All right. So read these first, and then over the weekend, you'll see a video appear where I go through all of this, plus I go through an example paper. I will also have a video on what is concise and how to write concise. And then there's going to be a video on chi-squared. We're not ready for chi-squared yet, but I want to get that video out there. So if you're kind of afraid of math, and there are a lot of students who are afraid of math, they can at least see it and start working on it now, so that maybe it won't be quite so frightening later in the semester. You cannot, if you're not ready for it, chi-square can sneak up on you and you may not understand what's going on. And if you try to do it the night before, you're going to fail that assignment. So I want to get chi-square out of the way quickly, and I want to start warning you about it. Okay, so that's the idea here with the with what's on the website. Please look at these documents soon. All right, and certainly before you begin the assignment. These are the requirements for the assignment, and be on the lookout for videos. Now, my next question is, has everybody seen their mutant assignment? So it'll be a letter like F, or maybe two letters, SS or SN. Have all of you gotten your assignments? So if you want to speak, or if you want to just do the chat, that's fine. But I need to know if you guys have seen that. Let me switch back to that. Yes. So I see a couple of yeses here. So I hope everybody has seen it and you know your mutant assignment. So that single letter is the name of your mutant. Like if you had BW, we canceled BW and we gave you F. And now BW stands for brown. So it was like a brown body, brown eyes, brown something. All right. But we decided that one wasn't a good one, and we gave you something else. F, I think F is forked. So you'll have to go investigate that and find out what forked is in WA1. So a lot of WA1 is you figuring out what your mutant is and the nature of your mutant. So there will be some type of mutation in your fly, giving it the wrong color of eyes, or the wrong shape of the wings, or some alteration in its physical nature. And those mutants you will need to investigate. And so WA1 is really just getting you started in the writing process and identifying the like physical attributes of your mutant. All right. Oh, you didn't see the rubric. So, I see somebody in the chat. Okay. Did you, someone tell me if you at least saw where I went on the website. You at least saw the website. So you can go to the website and download the rubric. It's just points. It says, okay, if you misspell something, if your grammar is bad, grammar is worth this many points. And so see if you can't take a look at that. So somebody says, no, they don't have a mutant. Hannah Aiden.
Yeah, that's me.
Email earlier today. I sent them out maybe 2 hours ago. So I believe yours, Hannah, I think you were one of the people who had BW, so you would now have F. Let me see if I can pull that up. So I see some people say they don't have a mutant. Are you not receiving emails from me, Hannah?
I am receiving emails, but I was waitlisted. I don't know if that's why my ID number is not on that list.
I can't hear you guys, so you're going to have to put the chat in. I don't know if I altered something. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I hear you, Hannah.
Okay, so I was waitlisted. I don't know if that's why you don't have my ID number. I do get emails from you, but I didn't see my ID number in that list of mutants.
Okay, I will. I tell you what, Hannah, yours is F, just the letter F. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. And we've got to figure that out then. If yours is not, you are receiving the emails though, correct?
Yes, I'm receiving all of the emails.
Okay, all right. We had a huge problem. Basically, you sign up and the registrar has your names and your IDs and stuff like that, and they send that over to the people who set up the Blackboard for us. And man, they didn't do a good job this semester of coordinating that. So they break it up into sections and stuff like that, and they got a lot of people in the wrong place. And then when people started adding, dropping and adding later, there was also some issues. So there were a lot of issues. But I think we've got it all signed. I don't think my two sections had a whole lot of problem. Uh, we were just late getting started with section 16343, but other than that, besides them not letting me see you, everything was set up pretty well. I didn't have your list if you were in section 16343. But I think everything's good now. How about questions, guys? Do you kind of know what's going on? I know this is a difficult class to take online, and I know there are lots of things. Everything is like moving. You have two professors more or less. You have me, a TA, and I grade certain things, and Dr. O'Brien grades something else. And I know that confuses people, and they forget. Oh, am I turning this in here? Who is it? Do I ask about this? You can ask me anything. And if it's something for Dr. O'Brien, I'll just say, oh, no, that's not me. That's Dr. O'Brien. And a lot of you have done that. My biggest thing to tell you is watch the videos. As I send you an email and I tell you about a new video that's been posted, please watch it and then email me if you have questions after it. I do not mind emails. Just send me emails, and whatever your problem is, we'll get it fixed. And if you say, I didn't understand something, it's not too hard for me to make a video on something. So maybe you didn't understand, I don't know, something about how to, the nature of the eyes of the fly. It's pretty easy for me to make a little video, 10 or 15 minutes going through the nature of eyes or something. I can do that. I've got time to kind of make those, and I kind of want to do that because I make the videos. If I teach this again, I can maybe point you to those videos and I don't have to remake them. And usually the explanation, of course, we normally would do it in class. We don't have that. And if you guys aren't understanding something, there are probably a lot of people who aren't understanding it. So we probably should make a video explaining whatever it is. So please ask me, email me, tell me, hey, I don't get, how to tell the difference between male and female flies. And that's a common thing. We'll make a video for it, or at the very least, send you someplace that already has a video made that's really good for it, something like that. Yes, somebody asked if the lab manual is supposed to help with writing assignment number 1, and I would say yes. The lab manual is good for everything we do in here. The lab manual has tips for WA1 as well, where to get pictures, things like that. But here's the thing. If you don't want to get caught plagiarizing, make sure when you do your references that you reference that lab manual. In other words, actually, that's a very common mistake, and I'm kind of glad you asked. So if you reference the lab manual or anything that I have written or a video that I have made or or something that Dr. O'Brien has put online, you have to reference those as well and put those in your references at the end of the paper. So make sure that if you use the lab manual, that you reference it. Okay, is that good? And that is a common mistake. We don't usually count off. We go, hey, yeah, the stuff we give you, that needs to be referenced as well, and that's true. So if you watch one of my videos, you should probably, and you want to reference it, there's a format for referencing YouTube videos. So just keep that in mind. And that's great, do it. And you have a certain number of references that you need for the paper. And those are good, easy references to get. I mean, you know, they're not that hard. You don't have to, all you have to do is learn how to reference a YouTube video and then put it in your references, and they're good ones. All right. Any other questions at this point? I especially want to make for sure that everybody has a mutant. Hannah told me that she didn't have a mutant, so we gave her one. And you need to get started. You've got 2 weeks, so hopefully that's plenty of time for you to at least start it. Ask me some questions, maybe next Friday, and then you've got another week to complete it. So that's kind of the idea. And then we'll start WA2. As soon as we're done with WA1, we jump right into WA2. So writing assignment 2, and that'll be more of the chi-square stuff. So I personally think it's good to get started on chi-square as early as possible so that people who struggle with it have time to kind of get it straight in their mind. Have any of you ever heard of chi-square before? Maybe in a psychology class where you did some statistics, or perhaps even in a statistics class if you had a statistics class? Yes, no? It's okay. Yeah, somebody has said they've used chi-square. Okay, good. We use it in a little different way in genetics, and I want to make sure everybody uses it correctly, because at times it can be easily misused, and I want to make sure that people use it in the proper way, because I will take off if you do not use it in the proper way. It proves it. I shouldn't say it proves it. Let me point this out. Statistical analysis never proves anything. It gives you suggestions as to what may be going on, but that's something you should make sure in your paper, and I will in a video tell you that you never prove anything with statistics. You simply either confirm or deny a hypothesis or a null hypothesis. And that's not the same as proving something. Proving something is much more difficult, and you have to be careful. And that's why a lot of people get in trouble in medical journals and things like that, because they think they've proven something, and no, you've never really proven anything. You have pointed the way. You say it's a trend. You can say all kinds of things, but saying that you proved it is actually incorrect. All right, so if there aren't any more questions, I think that's all we need for today. I just wanted to make sure today that everybody has their mutant. They think they're in the right place. I wanted to show you where online to get your information about WA1 and to be on the lookout for more videos. Has anybody had any problem connecting to the videos or the sound? I know the sound last semester, I had to shorten my microphone, and I wasn't always aware of the problems with the audio. I said video. So the audio was bad sometimes in the videos I made, but I've got a new microphone, so everything should be good. Are there any audio problems that you've heard on the YouTube, what we have 5 videos up, I think now. So
Hi, Ricky. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So the videos, everything's great. It's just except the audio. For me, at least, it's a little like staticky. I don't know if anyone else is also experiencing that
A little
issue.
staticky. Okay. I'll see if I can't fix that. Is it usually just staticky at the beginning and then it gets better? Because
No,
there's
it's
a
throughout
reason
the
for it to
video.
be staticky at the beginning.
It's throughout the video.
Oh, it drops the video?
It's throughout.
Oh, it's throughout. Can you tell me which one it was? Or if you don't, I'll watch them all, I guess.
Okay, so far for me, it's been all of them that you've posted.
Really? Okay. I must still have a problem somewhere. I knew last semester I had a short in the mic, but I have a new mic this time. And it doesn't come across on mine. At least when I'm making it, I usually do I'm wondering if it's something when I upload it to YouTube, the static comes into play, because the originals don't have static. I'll actually watch them because when I make them, I watch them before I upload them to YouTube, or at least I watch most of them. I admit sometimes I don't go through the whole thing, but I'll go check them out on YouTube and see if I can figure out what the issue is. All right, well, that's good. That's really good information for me. Thank you. All right, if there are no other questions, are we kind of done? Yes,
Oh, sorry, I had
no?
a really quick question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So in like several times, Dr. O'Brien told us not to reference the lab manual. Is that something that we should disregard
Oh,
since
he
you're going to
said
be the...
not to reference the lab manual?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused now because you said to include it, but then there's
Yeah,
one
you're
thing.
supposed, if you quote it, okay, certainly if you quote the lab manual, you have to reference, I mean, you have to put it in as a reference if you quote. In other words, there are ways of referencing it. Don't reference it. Okay, that's a good distinction. Don't reference it if you're just getting general information out of it. But if you use things word for word in the lab from the lab manual, you must reference it. Or if you use a picture or something from the lab manual, you need to reference where you got the picture. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So if we're just paraphrasing the information of the day,
Paraphrasing is fine. It's general information. Most of the stuff in the lab manual is general information. But if you specifically pull out something that is quoted from the lab manual, as in, and you use the wording in like 80% of the words that you use are from the manual are the same in your sentences, and you don't rephrase or you don't at least move the words around a little, yeah, that's plagiarism. In other words, you can paraphrase. See, the hard part is when are you paraphrasing and when are you quoting? And if you copy something and the words and you use the same words in the same sentence and and they're in their same order and the same, it's essentially plagiarism if you're too close to the words that are used in the manual. So you would have to quote that if you get too close to the wording of the lab manual. But if you paraphrase it and just talk about things in general without worrying, and some people do it maybe sometimes by accident because there are certain phrases that are commonly used, and maybe they think that what the lab manual is saying is a common phrase, and so like um, I'm trying to think of an example here. I'll try to put an example of exactly where the lab manual would be quoted and where it would not be quoted. I'll do that when I make the video. I'll do that. So that's a good question. I didn't. I assumed. Well, I shouldn't assume anybody knows exactly what plagiarism is because there is a certain level, and we use, by the way, Turnitin, and Turnitin checks for this. And you can use Turnitin to check yourself to see that if you have uh, inadvertently used the sentences you're using are too close to the sentences in in the reference that you made, and Turnitin will flag it, and you should use Turnitin to do exactly that to check to see if you have inadvertently plagiarized something. And uh, I understand it happens, and we actually allow a little bit of it. So if you get something, Turnitin comes in at 15% or something, actually that's fine. You get up to 30 and suddenly I'm looking around going, no, this is too much or too suspicious. And we'll probably set a standard where we start warning you that, hey, this is too close, or this is obviously plagiarism. You have to change this. But we are checking for that. I just want to make that very clear that we are checking this semester very closely for it. All right. Don't want to scare you or anything. Maybe I do. I want to scare you just a little, just so you'll check it. Okay, think of it that way. But the um, the lab manual should be quoted. If you quote the lab manual, you have to put it in the references. There's just no doubt. If you use word for word, certainly you have to reference that. And I'll ask Dr. O'Brien what he was if just to make for sure we got on the same page. Let's see.
Hi, Ricky. I have a quick question.
Sure.
So for citing, do you have a specific style that you would like us to cite, like APA or genetics?
Yes, we're going to be following something that is, what do you want to say? There's a journal, the journal for just called genetics, actually, and it has a reference. It's kind of like its own version of APA, or MLA or whatever. And we're going to be following that. And what I'm going to do in my video is I'm going to show you an example paper, one that was written a couple of semesters ago. And we are following that format. And I will be flexible in certain things, but I will not be flexible in others, like how you reference uh, um, your papers, that your articles that you're using or that you're getting your information from. And that will be in a separate video. So you will get all of that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's a whole video all by itself. That's a pretty big deal. So just yeah, just wait for the whole video on that, and we'll be like I said, the thing I tell students, I'm going to give everybody an example paper. All right, and that paper was an A paper. It's not perfect, but it's close. Somebody did a really good job on it. It's about a 95, 96. All right. Now I've taken the names out so you can't tell who did it or anything, but and it's a mutant that you guys don't have, so you can't copy it. But you'll get to see what a paper that was done well looks like, and you'll see that the format, the how they did their references. So you'll have examples of an exam of a paper to work from. I don't know that the other TAs do this. I do it just because I think what they're asking you to do is pretty hard. And without an example to work from, it's hard to get all of the everything down and to make sure that you're doing it right. You have all of the rules written down, in a list, but to actually see a paper done kind of interprets those rules so that you actually see them on paper. I think that really helps to see, okay, it says segment the paper into these regions or something like that in the rubric. Well, what does that actually look like? And how do you space it? How do you indent? How do you, all of these things, very simple things. And this paper has it done exactly the way I'm looking for it. So I give you an example paper to work from. And it was back when we made this a 60-page paper, not a 35, 40-page paper. That is how long WA5 will be. When you add up all of the pieces, it's going to be a very long paper. And this one was in the old days when it was much longer. So you'll have a lot to choose from. In other words, there'll be more in this paper than you have to do. And one of the reasons we've done that is because you don't have access to the lab and the flies. So we've cut some things out just because you can't do the flies. We've added some things with bioinformatics, but a lot, since you can't go into the laboratory, there are things that you don't need to explain. You don't need to explain how to use the equipment because you didn't go in and do that. You didn't use that equipment. So instead, you're going to be doing a little bit more gene analysis. And I like it because it's closer to what you would do in a modern analysis. The problem is you didn't gain those physical skills using that piece of equipment. We just show you pictures of it and say, this is what we would have done, but there's no way the building wouldn't support COVID during COVID. So if we were going to have this class at all, they would have to tell you, oh, we can only have like 2 sections or 3 classes of it or something like that. And it would you wouldn't be able to you still wouldn't be able to do the labs because you wouldn't have access to the laboratory. So there was no way we could do it. But you are going to learn more bioinformatics, which is the more modern type of analysis. It's more like doing, if you know what 23andMe is, or what's the other one? I've forgotten, but you send your DNA in and you get your analysis back. It'll be more along that lines. We'll do a lot more, and that there's a little bit more math, a little bit more software involved, and less actual physical handling of flies, which is what you would have normally been doing. You would have been handling the actual flies and breeding them, and you won't have to do that in this semester anyhow. All right, we're about to run out of time. Any more questions, real quick?
I just have one quick question.
Yes.
Okay, so I was assigned mutant E, but I'm just confused on where do I go next? Like now that I know that, like Do I go to like the readiness?
Right. So that will be the next video that you have coming up. All right. So when I go through the paper, I'm going to show you how to write the paper, but I'm also going to be showing you where to go and find these things. Like, where do I find a picture? Where do I start finding out about E? What is E? And there'll be a video on that.
Okay.
So definitely be watching your emails, be watching for new videos. I usually, when I make a new video, I send an email about it. So those should help you. We also will have PowerPoints. Next week's PowerPoints will be giving you some hints as well. So where to go, what to do. So next week's PowerPoint video will probably cover the basics of what you're asking. And I will add at least one more video on in addition to that.
Okay, so right now I just focus on the lab manuals and the writing assignments, like the links that I
Yes,
get.
definitely. What I would like you to do this weekend is to read through the things Dr. O'Brien has posted, and then just watch out for me sending you emails for videos for you to watch as you go along. But you do need to read the basic instructions first. So you got to get an idea. And the first video that I will make is one where I go through the example paper. So you can actually see what the final paper, WA5, will look like. Now, WA1 is just part of that paper, just little bits and pieces of it. And you will eventually turn what you start here with WA1, you will eventually turn it into WA5, writing assignment 5, which is this very long paper. And I will use a completed paper for in the video and show you what where the details are, and at least to some extent where you go to get this, and where actually several videos on where to go get things. It's just not just one video.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah, don't start slow. There's a lot to learn about this assignment. So just start with the instructions first. Start with what's on Blackboard. And then as you have questions, go ahead and ask me. And then as we go along, you'll get videos slowly coming out with specifics and maybe some examples that can help you find the material you want. A lot of people do have a hard time finding material on some of these, but I can give you some websites and I can show you where on those sites. There are lots of databases. You do have to dig a little on your own. It's not, I'm not going to show everybody where their mutant is, but I'll go show you where there are lists of mutants, and you go find yours and find information out about them. And I'll tell you, one of the simplest things to do is just put in, go to Google and just go Drosophila melanogaster. That's the name of the fruit fly. That's the technical name. Put that into Google and then follow it by your mutant abbreviation, like if it's F or SN or SS. So Drosophila melanogaster and then F, and do a Google search on that, and you'll be surprised how much information you can find just from doing that. So that if you're curious about what your mutant is, that's the first way to do it. Does that
Hi,
help a
Ricky.
little?
Sorry to interrupt you, but Dr. O'Brien, he kept emphasizing that we start our crosses. And so is that something that we should wait until we get your videos?
It depends. Some people just get so curious and they want to, get started. I personally think you should read the, if I understand your question right, I think you should read the instructions first. So that's the stuff that's on Blackboard. Then as I send you emails telling you that there are more videos available, you can start watching the videos. And they'll be coming out this weekend.
Okay, thank you. That answered my question.
Okay, yeah. All right, anything else? No? I think we're gonna run out of time in about 2 minutes. So if you got any more questions, try and get them in real quick. No? All right, well, really, feel free to email me. Do not be afraid to send me an email if you don't understand something, all right? I know students sometimes are hesitant to ask, and don't think it's like a dumb question or, man, he's gonna think I'm not, reading or not doing anything. Ask me. I'll help you out. Okay, please. Okay. All right. I'll let everybody go, and I will post this video tonight. All right, so I'll go through it and see how the recording went, and I'll try to work on that static. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Mhm.